Good afternoon, everyone. Aron here from the Worley Bugger Fly Company, bringing you your weekly Yakima River fly fishing report, riverside from the upper Yakima River. Upper River looking fantastic, on the drop and clear. We were fighting a little bit of a bump this last week, fishing on both sides of it. A little tougher on the up as usual. Water's on the drop. Fishing's been really good and consistent the last few days. The wind's been up, so the dry fly fishing's been a little quiet. However, when you get out of those windy spots, in those non-windy days, pretty fantastic in the afternoon. Bug-wise, a lot going on. Salmon flies finishing up. March brown still out and about, plenty of those. Lots of caddis. Starting to see some yellow sallies and PMDs, and the golden stone, the next stonefly to have on your radar, should be coming out in about any time now. If you'd like to come out and do a trip with us, we'd love to see you. It'd be a great time. It's been pretty quiet this spring on the river, so traffic has been relatively light, especially during the week.
Good morning, everybody. This is Steve from the Worley Bugger. It is May 17, 2024. You just heard from head guide Aron Larsen on the upper river, and you can see here I am at the upper bridge in the Farmlands, and see the water's got a little bit of color right here, and that reason being is there's an irrigation return that comes into the river about a half mile upriver from here, so that's adding some color to it right there, but that'll all disperse. You can see those famous Kittitas County winds are picking up. It's been pretty breezy all week, just that time of year. You get lots of wind here in the Ellensburg Valley, so it's supposed to kind of continue that way through Saturday, and then kind of cool down. A really cold night last night, so still, big temperature swings, but there's just a ton of stuff going on in the river now, so you got to really start to think and switch gears. There's still salmon flies, like Aron said, in the upper river. There's golden stones happening now. PMD mayflies, caddis flies, yellow sallies. There's just a wide gamut of food now in the river for fish. So, be prepared, with everything that you might encounter. And the main thing that I can tell you, really, to have success is two things. Is one, it's not winter again, so think about where fish are going to be, where they're going to be staged. When you know your bugs, get to know your bugs and where bugs live in the river, then you will be able to find out where the trout are. The trout are never too far from the food source, so just keep that in mind. So if you're new to fly fishing, you got a lot to learn. And that's one of the fun things about it, is starting to learn all the bugs and then matching them up with the correct flies and correct size. Another thing too I always tell people is, this time of year, watch where the swallows are. You can see the swallows flying around here. So they're eating the bugs on the river as well. So whenever you're cruising the river, watch for the swallows flying around the river. That'll tell you where the bug hatches are happening. If the swallows are high in the air, flying above the river, they're waiting for the bugs. If they're down on the water, then they're eating the bugs. If the birds are eating the bugs, something else has got to be eating them too. So the river remains, unseasonably low. For this time of year, the 17th of May, You know, typically we're dealing with much higher volumes of water, but you know, as we all know now, it's going to be a tough water year. You know, not enough water really to go around for everybody. They depleted the reservoirs so low last year that the El Nino winter that we had just did not produce enough snowpack. We're going to be able to capture, you know, some of that snow as it begins to melt, as it warms up, but you know, the river's just not going to be running at extreme volumes for long periods of time, probably this summer. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But yeah, it remains unseasonably low, so wade fishing is, you know, definitely an option. But again, you know, I've had folks in, you know, to the pro shop all week wading around, and you know, they're much harder to find when the river's lower. So if you are a wade fisherman, you got to move around a lot to find the pods of fish. The fish aren't going to be everywhere when the water is low. They're going to be in really specific places. So, you know, being in a boat, you're able to move from spot to spot to spot, and you can do the same thing on foot, it just takes longer. So you can't just stand and pound one spot to death and expect, you know, to have a lot of success. Typically where you find one fish, you're going to find more fish. As far as salmon pulses go too, you know, looking at the gauges, you know, again, you know, with low water in the reservoirs, you know, I would say, you know, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of wasted water pushed down the river. Better to have water in the fall to cover the reds, you know, than, you know, waste water trying to push little fish out of the system. So hopefully there'll be enough to generate, and salmon will migrate on their own downriver. But there are some little smolts in the system now. And again, you just got to kind of move around to get out of them. Big trout typically won't be holding with, you know, a bunch of pockets of salmon. So just keep that in mind. And again too, you know, we're the middle of month of May, so you know, lots of fisheries opening up. Our warm water fisheries are starting to happen. Bass fishing starting to get really good. The lake fishing is still going very, very strong, but again, you know, typically, you know, windy days, you can experience some difficult conditions, you know, on the lakes, especially some of them that don't, you know, that are stuck out in the middle of the desert, not a whole lot of cover. So that's kind of the nice thing about the river this time of year, is the trees are all compacted and full of leaves, so they offer, you know, lots of cover where you can duck in. Where you find the cover, you're going to find the bugs. They'll be hatching. So just a wide array of things happening. Fishing has been pretty good, so you need to get out, get some sunshine. It's beautiful, it's just a little bit breezy. So everybody have a great weekend. Give the fly shop a call if you need any assistance. Happy to help you. Until then, we'll see you next week.
Anyhow, if you have any questions regarding fly fishing or guided fly fishing trips, please feel free to call the pro shop. We'd love to see you. Love to get you out here and teach you about river, or just come back and fish with us and have a great day out here. Anyhow, hope everyone's having a great week. Tight lines, and we'll see you out here.